So I can't sleep. I can't sleep, and because of all the healing I did on myself um, over the years, even up to today, um, I I feel a kind of a ease of tension where I don't feel like I have to indulge in certain things like watch a bunch of YouTube videos or um, watch movies or stuff like that. I'm more geared towards right now finding ways to continuously heal myself to be able to do what I came on this earth to do. So earlier I did a live stream that was, I thought it was successful. The most successful live stream that I've ever done. Why? It's because for the first time I was able to stream through my higher self to an extent. And it gets stronger than that. And I was able to shed a lot of insight on some things and speak on some of my philosophies and stuff. So that was nice. And now I can't sleep. Now I don't have any light. How did I create light early? Here's other video. This other video here. It had some light.
Alexander, I understand, but the court uses that about he must destroy. Just like I said, AT&T gave money out of it.
This video, okay, why is it not?
They're a big company involved. They're not the ones censoring stuff. Okay, it's the big tech. The reason I raised that was just the one that popped in my head, the first one. It's massive what's going on. I was just being honest that Trump's driving a couple hundred million. But I mean, as much as that sounds like a lot of money, but there's the other one. They keep talking about China, Amazon. Yeah. China's even bigger. It's bigger than big tech. It literally spends hundreds of billions of dollars buying us off. You know, Hollywood, you know, a lot of the big telecoms, you know, the majority of our debt. And I've got articles in the LA Times and New York Times I've brought for you where they say Xi Jinping must destroy Trump to save America. He is our leader. And then the Davos group, he said 3 years ago, I will destroy Trump. I will work with Hollywood. I've got all his quotes right here. And Xi Jinping said, I want to overthrow American democracy. I want to repudiate it. I want to discredit it. And Xi Jinping admits he admires Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin.
If you go there and check it out now, it starts with Alex Jones talking shit. But I edited, as in
like the trade deals that Trump wants to do with China are not nearly, well, they're not one-sided for him. But here's what
I took time to
trim
it because they're allowing you to trim now.
But by one-sided trade deals
with live stream, which is great.
You watched the previous video.
Through those deals,
I started an exercise where I'm trying to go into my feelings.
And so China's
The blocking feelings that comes up.
Okay, and I was talking while Alex Jones was talking, and that wasn't good. So I'm hoping that maybe that's why the whole process of the what do they call it? Let's see here. With the whole processing takes so long because they have to integrate the status of what it is with the status of the trimming, meaning that the status of the video that in the views and the likes and or whatever else has to now merge with the fact that I've edited it and trimmed it. And maybe that's why it's taking so damn long, though. I hope there's nothing wrong with it and it's gonna be okay. I really hope so. But in that video, once it's trimmed, hopefully everything goes right. And I hope after it trims, it doesn't like go into a new video, as in it doesn't become a new video where it loses whatever views was there. It wasn't a lot of views, like 10 views so far. Oh, but that's my life. But I was able to speak, and for the first time, I felt my higher self coming through for me in a video. And it was nice. So I'm trying to do these pretty often. And I said earlier that I'm worried that it might create a problem where I lose some of the subscribers, because some subscribers don't want to like keep watching these videos where I'm just live streaming and just being random. And in the stream, I decided that I'm going to just be, and I'm going to go into the healing processes that I do to heal myself. If I face the camera and heal myself, work on myself on camera, I'm knocking out a couple birds with one stone. I'm doing the healing and facing the fear, and healing at the same time. So that helps me to warm up the camera, to get myself to be able to shed and integrate the traumas and the blockages that I feel while on camera. Because what would happen is every time I turn on the camera, whether live stream or regular, I will turn it on and I will get these blockages, this brain block and this heart block and this stomach block that stops that interrupts the stream of knowledge that I can bring through. And whenever I'm trying to do a structured video, what happens is have to read off of a paper or memorize from reading makes me feel awkward anyway. But when I'm doing a freestyle, I worry that I won't remember my points. Because I've always felt like the best kind of videos for me to do is to write down my points and then elaborate point to point, from point to point. But when I start doing that, I get obsessed. When I'm writing, by the way, I get so weird about it. I start feeling like, damn. This is so lame. I start feeling like I have to write down my points and still start to, because every time I write down a point, I remember something related to the point that I feel like I will forget. And that's how cerebral I am about shit. I'm very cerebral. I can't just be and just be allowing about shit. Like some people, and I know it's a problem I have and I've always been having. This guy's so cute. I'm looking at this. He's so adorable. Anyway, what was I saying? I need to stop. I need to go back. Okay, maybe I need to not look at the sky. So, yeah, I started to become really cerebral about it. And and then I start feeling, oh my God, I'm gonna forget. So I feel like I have to write down a sub point under the under the main point, and that kind of throws me off. Why does it throw me off? It's because I feel like I have to do that. After I do that, I have to continuously do it. And why do I have to do it? This is my healing. One of my healing techniques is where I just question why I do things. When you find a question of why you do, find the answers of why you do things, it helps to release the trauma to an extent. Like it release some of the pain and the trauma, the negative emotions around the trauma. Why? Because whenever you discover something, it pulls the lid off of it, and it starts to, some of it start to escape. You know, because when you don't know what something is, it's just staying in there, and you keep on perpetuating um, the same behaviors, and without any conscious understanding of what it means. And so you might assume that it's good, or you might assume that it's bad, or it's bad, but you don't think that it's bad in a way where it's coming from a weak place. You may think it's coming from a strong place, and so you don't get to discover, you don't get to like analyze it, or use an introspection where it is concerned. And so that's what um, that's why I question why I do things. But back to that questioning, why do I need to write down the sub point after the main point? Because I'm psychotic about not remembering my points. I'm afraid that if I don't remember my points, then the video is going to be lacking, and then oh my God, because I'm such a freaking perfectionist, which I think in one of these videos, I don't remember if it was the last video I did or maybe the one that I deleted. I touched on perfectionism, and I explained that it's not a good thing. It's not coming from a place of strength. It's coming from a place of self-hatred. And this was distracting me. So when I'm trying to perfect the whole thing, you go into the state of fight, of this obsession, and the fighting and the resistance of just being present. And even when you forget in a moment, when you decide to just be present and to let go and to not worry, it comes to you. And so this is why people who are so good at not worrying, not only are their lives easier because they're not worrying, it's also easier because of that whole process. They're not obsessing about stuff, and so they're just in a state um, of flow, because they're allowing themselves to just be, and whatever you want comes to you when that's the case. So 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 I just mentioned that I obsess about writing my subpoints, because I don't want to forget, and then my video won't be perfect. But when I try to make it perfect, it's too structured, and then I'm nervous, and then it's not perfect because I'm in a state of fighting, of resistance. Um, but when I'm freestyling, I worry I won't remember. But I was talking about something else before I started talking about this. Yeah, I forgot. So now I have to really check why I'm forgetting. Uh, why did I forget that just now? So it seems like the universe is telling me to talk about something very deep. You're telling me to challenge myself. Talk about something very, very deep. I didn't want to talk about that tonight. I really wanted to vent about something personal that's going on, and is my family not taking me seriously? Because I feel like when people don't take people seriously, and it started from childhood, the child internalizes it, and then the child grows up having this lack of self-trust and of believing that they are not deserving of respect. And then, when you're that person, life's become really hard because you have to go out in the workforce, and then you're constantly attracting people that shows you the same face of non-respect. When you grow up in a family that don't show you respect or don't take you seriously, that's the main thing. You internalize it, and then you believe that this is the role you should play. This is how they know me, and this is how they love me. They love me this way, and if I go against that, then I will lose their love. And so whatever people label they put on you, you absorb it and you become it, because that is the role you believe that you're supposed to play. And it's hard to be me in the family that I belong to, and not just anticipate a kind of a retribution or a revenge. I just want to. I work on every day to let go of those resentments, because it's resentment. I'm just unwilling to. I'm not willing to let go of pain. I want pain because it serves me. It makes me toughen myself up to avoid vulnerability, because I don't want to be vulnerable. Because if I'm vulnerable, I'm vulnerable. If I'm vulnerable, then, I'm showing weakness, and I'm afraid of that still. And while I'm getting better at it and working on these things, until I really get there, I'm not there yet. So, I'm afraid of being vulnerable. And so I toughen myself up, and I anticipate revenge. And and that blocks my heart space, because when you're in that state, you don't want to love, you don't want to forgive. And even though I believe that people just cannot forgive based on will and at will, forgiveness is not something that you could just decide to do. It's something that takes time, and it takes work, and it takes you coming to a realization, a kind of a place of understanding and acceptance of the pain itself, and how the pain have served you, what you learned from it. And until you really get to that place, you have not really forgiven. You have not really forgiven people. You're still in a state of non-forgiveness, because as soon as you feel that pain, you attribute that pain and you associate that pain with that person. So a lot of the time when people are talking about how they're forgiven, They've not forgiven. All they've done is suppress what the pain, and suppress the hurt, and suppress the betrayal, and whatever it was. And because it's right to forgive, and because society made it right to just forgive at will, and we the Bible and religion and whatever else have sell people the whole idea, and they bought it that you could just forgive at will. You know, you could just decide to forgive and make it right. It's wrong to not forgive. You know, the people who did you wrong, forget what the fuck they did to you. When you decide that you can't just forgive them, you become the bad guy. And that's very scapegoaty. It's very a scapegoat kind of a way to go about life, to try to somehow try to blame the victim, you know, because so most of the times in those situations, people attack the victim because the victim is usually for the most part, the easy target. They don't deal with the perpetrator because the perpetrator is exuding a kind of a dominance and strength that they're not ready for, that they can't deal with. And so this is one reason, another reason why the scapegoat continues to be the scapegoat, because you know the scapegoat most of the time is they absorb people's energy. They don't stand up for themselves, and that has been my life for a very long time. I didn't take a lot of time for standing up for myself. Not until I got into my mid-20s. Yeah. First time I really stood up for myself was I was like maybe 18, 19. I was in New York and working at KFC, and this fucking bitch of a bitch that was working there. She was a bully, just think that she was like one of the youngest people there, but she just believed that she was over everyone. And she used to just be talking shit about me and talking shit to me. And because they gave her a lot of power, I was afraid to lose my job or whatever. And you know, I would not stand up for myself until one day I barked at the bitch, and I surprised myself, and I was proud of myself. You know, I was like one of the first times I'm like, oh my God, I could really do this. I could really, you know, stand on my feet and let people know how I feel, and not allow people to push me over and, you know, and do what they think they could do with me. So yeah, I digress a lot. I digress a lot. I now I've forgotten what I was saying, and that's something else I'm struggling with is memory. Struggling with memory right now. I was on a a good path here, talking about something that I was going to build on, and I was going to bring a whole lot of points into view, and now I'm just like got sidetracked somehow because I'm just this elaborate person who want to leave no stones unturned, and I want to be thorough in every way, and I don't want to like forget. For that goes back. But if I remember anything of what I was saying, yeah, I didn't really truly started to really stand up for myself until I got into my mid-20s. Okay, and I decided, I'm not gonna do this anymore with people. But to go back to a former point again, the whole forgiveness thing, because I forgot my whole train of thought. I'm sorry. The whole forgiveness thing, you can't really truly forgive until you've seen how what people have done to you has served you. Okay, so no, back on track again somewhat. Yeah, so I tend to resort to, being very tough to like block my heart and keep pain inside of me and not release it and keep my voice in and not express gratitude and affection. I'm not the most affectionate person, and I'm afraid of expressing, you know, regret to people and saying I'm sorry. I struggle with that. I struggle with saying thank you sometimes, and sometimes people assume that I'm ungrateful, and I don't think. Now, maybe people are ungrateful sometimes, but for the most part, people are not really ungrateful. I think people, in fact, I know that, people, whenever something is done for people, okay, people are definitely ungrateful for sure in certain ways, which maybe if I remember, I'll talk about it. But for the most part, people are grateful. It's just that sometimes people are not good at expressing the gratitude, because just like apologies, gratitude does not have as much pain and resistance in it as apologies, because apologies, when you're apologizing, you can't apologize without becoming really vulnerable, and whenever you have to apologize, you have to simultaneously acknowledge that you are wrong, and that's hard. That's hard for anybody to do. To admit that you're wrong. One of the basic human needs is to be right. People can't stand being wrong. They just can't. And so yeah, people are not really ungrateful. When the difference between, you know, gratitude and apologies is gratitude, is easier. Yeah, way easier. But it's kind of the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing at all, really, but it has some similarities. The resistance itself has some similarities, because when you're saying thanks, sometimes, depending on who you are, you have to simultaneously admit that um, somebody did something for you that you couldn't do for yourself, or you didn't do for yourself. And a lot of times people feel a kind of an incompetence when they have to say thank you, and it makes them feel powerless, as if saying thanks to this person is admitting to their own incompetence and their own inabilities to provide for themselves. And what else? There's something else with gratitude, with the resistance with gratitude. Okay, it makes them feel incapable, incompetent. And there's a pride, and the pride, another kind of a pride, because it makes them feel I just got sidetracked there. It makes them feel okay. Yeah, it also makes them feel like they owe this person something, like they have to give back. That's another thing. Maybe there's something else, but I think this is one of the main things I'm looking for. It makes them feel like, they owe them something. And even though the gratitude is a kind of a give back, it's a kind of a, I'm welcoming you, I'm welcoming your generosity. You know, the whole gratitude thing. Saying it, you know, sometimes, you know, send this message. And it doesn't send a message, but the person might believe it does if they feel a certain kind of insecurity. It makes them. What did I just say? I just said it. I know I forgot. I just said it. I know I've forgotten. That's just how my brain works. But I believe with time and doing this more and more, it'll get better. I'm trying to get this to put me to sleep because I don't want to end up watching a movie and getting all in the zone of a movie, or because you know I'm so sensitive and I'm such a like an extrasensory sensitive person. Whatever I watch, I absorb, and it's not necessarily a way that I have to be, but it's the way that I am right now because maybe there's something, a trauma that I need to go into. I'm sure that's always the case anyway. Um, I just said the thing and I forgot. Yeah. It makes them feel like, okay, I forgot again. Yeah, it makes them feel like they owe the people something and they will owe them forever. And that makes them feel a kind of a like if I owe you, then somehow I'm constricted and I'm not free. I feel a kind of a I feel trapped, you know. That's what gratitude says, and some people are afraid to express gratitude because of that. That resistance keep them from expressing that. It blocks um their throat space, their throat chakra. I don't want to use that word chakra because some people might not like that kind of stuff really, but I'm going to be using those words, those terms, depending on the content that I'm dealing with anyway. But that's what that is coming from, you know. I can't believe I'm doing 2 live streams in like one day, but it's not. It's a different day. So today is Saturday, right? I'm assuming I started. Let me see how long I've been doing it. 33 minutes. So yeah, I started after 12. So that means this is a different day than the older live stream, the previous one that I just did. You guys have any questions for me? Because I'm sure I had a whole lot of stuff to talk about, but my memory and getting sidetracked made me forgotten. Oh, hello. What are some of your problems? I hope maybe if you watch it back, you maybe you could watch the video back and I'll talk about my problem. It's a lot, and there's other videos that I have talking about my problems. The one that I just did, the previous video before this, if you could go see that too. I talked about an issue that I'm having with my family. I think it was a family issue I talked about in that video. Kevin Jackson, thank you for watching. Any other questions you have? Anybody have any other questions? Okay, so I was looking at this other video because when I click off of myself and not look at myself, it's easier for me to express myself. When I'm watching myself talk about stuff, I get all subconscious. So I click off of it. So that's why I missed your question and I missed your comment there, but your comments rather. Um, any other questions? Because then I look lonely. um, a little bit. I think I'm gonna end the stream, guys, because I hate sitting here and not talking about anything, and I don't want to trim this video. And I think I might keep it up because I think my delivery was pretty solid. So I'm looking forward tomorrow. If I wake up in the middle of the night and my brain is going like haywire from not being able to focus on any particular thing, then I might stream it again. So it seems like I'm gonna be streaming a lot because this is therapy for me. I started out not when I started my channel, but for some couple of years now I've been streaming, not very often, but on and off. And I always said it was therapy for me to be able to freestyle like that. But this is the first time today that I took time to just ease back. And in the video, I did 2 other live streams today. One of them I deleted. Let's talk. I'm about to end the stream, honey. But I was just saying that this is the first time I took time to do trauma work and do healing work while on camera. So in the first video that I deleted, I was laying down because that's me doing the inner child work and some of the parts work that I do in general, doing it on myself, while on camera, because it helps me to, when I'm on camera, it brings up a lot of the fear and the apprehension and the trauma of being on camera and of being seen, and the trauma of having to find, that's the thing, find the knowledge, my intuitive knowledge coming through. So that's something I struggle with, and I'm still struggling with. Whenever I turn on the camera, whenever I'm in front of people, I lose it and I dissociate. And so the more I get in front of the camera and well, what did you want to talk about? Just put the question or a comment there, and if it intrigues me, then I might stay up a few more minutes. Kevin Jackson. But you have like 30 seconds to put up the next question or comment if you want to talk, and I'll decide if it's interesting enough, then I'll stay a few more minutes. Yeah, so that was very, very therapeutic. It was very I don't know if cathartic is the right word, but it was very effective, and I'm very proud that I did that, and I feel good about myself today. So usually my gratitude method is journaling, but I for some reason the journaling aspect of, I spoke about enough of that today, Kevin. In my previous video, go back to see the previous video and watch this whole thing back. I talk about problems, and I'm going to be doing a lot of that with live stream. I don't think it's gonna. Maybe it will be daily, but maybe it will be every other day. Okay. Well, ask me something else if you want me to talk to you. I don't want to talk about my personal life problems. If you maybe if you ask me a particular problem about a particular issue you're curious about that's related to my life problems, I might go into it. But I'm sick of talking about that stuff right now. I gotta write something down. Chaos after the election? What do you mean? What about it? Are you saying there's going to be chaos after the election? Are you asking me? What do you mean by chaos after the election? What about it? Are you asking me if there will be, or are you asking me what I think about the idea, or what? Get these out. Hurt. I did not vote. I don't know if I will. I'm somebody who have very unpopular opinions and very um, unconventional views of mainstream politics. Uh, okay, I'm gonna end it now. Thanks for watching, Kevin. Kevin, come back tomorrow and go watch my previous video and watch this back, okay? It will be what? It will be chaos. Why you say that? Why you say there will be chaos after the election? Where are men more settled than women in relationship? What do you mean? Why do men settle more? Why do men tend to settle more in relationships than women? Is that what you're asking? Zoom. Oh, Zoom.
My name is Javier Araki, and I'm in the nursing program at Kaiser University. At Kaiser, they do put students first. It's always about being
You're
prepared
right.
for the field. They help
Listen,
you in any way that they can. With Kaiser University,
Kevin Jackson, if I stream tomorrow, it will probably be in the evening. I was thinking about going to an open
Oh,
mic tomorrow.
So here's the thing. Until a few months ago, I was pretty lonely. No friends.
But if I stream tomorrow, it'll be the evening or towards the night. Come back with that question about why do men settle more? Because I'm not sure what you're asking. So ask somebody you know how to ask a question, because you can't talk. I can't hear your voice. You could only ask questions in written form. So I'm not sure what you're asking. So I catch you on the next live stream and I bring that question back. I'll be glad to answer it for you. Thank you. Bye.